A laboratory like this? Under Soliana?
Alright, welcome back to Sonic 06 Silver's Story Part 6? Yeah, that's right. We're in Aquatic Base, as we saw happen at the end of the last one. Shadow and Silver accidentally got transported back in time. And speaking of the devil, we are finally going to give Shadow a spin. He is probably my favorite character to play as in the game, as I said a couple times now. He's just the right amount of speedy. He's faster than Silver, but slower than Sonic, which means he controls just fine. Instead of having a homing attack, he has a homing attack, and then if you keep pressing the homing attack button afterwards, he will continue to attack, and I just think that's pretty cool. Shadow is a lot more combat focused than Sonic, but, you know, not to the point where you have to throw things at enemies like as Silver. So I think, again, he strikes a good balance. Shadow is definitely my favorite character to play as in the game. He gets some cool abilities, too, that we'll really only get into when we play his story, because we're not going to be playing as Shadow for very long in this section. Get used to that line, too, because he says that quite a lot. And again, we're done with Shadow. That's such an insignificant part of this level. I don't know why you even play as him there. I mean, I'll take playing as Shadow in that section to playing as Tails in that section. I think this visit to Aquatic Base is much cooler than Sonic's. Sonic, I feel like, didn't need to come here. But Shadow and Silver, it's like tied to the story. You get some actual cool, like, lore. This is when you see that Sonic's story was completely inconsequential, as I've said multiple times. Like, this is actually, this whole part of the game serves the like overarching story of this game, which you basically don't learn about at all in Sonic's story. Like any of the backstory with Princess Elise or Soliana, I think they mention the disaster a couple times in Sonic's story, but you don't get to see what it was. And it is strange that Elise really only plays a part in Sonic's story. She'll play, you know, a slight part in this one, just due to the level you have with Amy. But you don't learn her backstory in Sonic's level. So they kind of let you, you know, use your powers more here. You don't have to use the big silver balls. They assume you can, you know, you can figure your way out of here. I got really nervous here. I thought I wasn't going to make it back on there. And again, I would much rather do this as Silver than have to, you know, do it as Tails, which is one of the worst parts of Sonic's level, is when you do this particular spot as Tails, and you have to, like, keep throwing the dummy ring bombs. It's just, oh my god, it's so annoying. This is the only thing I could do without. Other than that, I would say that Silver's level is probably better than Sonic's. You know, I just don't like that there's too many rooms that you have to stand in and kill all the enemies in before you can move on. I just think that's always a bad thing. That's something that Unleashed took, and I didn't like it there either. This is always very confusing for me, no matter which character I play as, Sonic, Shadow, or Silver. I can never remember exactly where I'm supposed to go. Am I supposed to go down? Am I supposed to go up? Am I supposed to go in there? Is that where I just came from? But I think this door was not open before. And it'll usually put a goal post, or a checkpoint post, right there. Now, unfortunately, we do have to use the big silver ball at least once, which is just annoying. I always get incredible anxiety using this. Like, is it gonna pop? Is it not gonna pop? What's going on? Just makes me nervous. Don't know why. But yeah, I would say... Wait, does Aquatic Base have a... No, it doesn't, does it? I was gonna say, it doesn't have a Mach Speed section. Because maybe Sonic's version of this level is fine too, but... You have to play as Tails and Knuckles, who I think are the worst Amigo characters in this entire game. So, I'm not too big a fan of that. I would much rather play as Silver and Shadow in this. The combat focused, I don't mind. But it's still a little too slow, so I don't think Aquatic Base is one of the better levels in the game. I think it's fairly slow. This, despite the fact that you can control how slow Silver goes in the air with the hover, I still got hit by that somehow. Don't ask me how. I'm just a Dumas. So the good thing about this is that usually in Sonic's and Shadow's story, trying to homing attack in a room like this is usually not a good idea, because you'll usually target those balls, but Silver can actually just pick them up, so your method of attack has not been hindered at all by the balls, you know, as opposed to the other stories, which is nice. It's very nice. Thought the game was gonna crash there. Yeah, I don't remember. Is Aquatic Base is Sonic's last level, right? Yeah, I think it is. So it's weird that you can't really have a like increase in difficulty throughout the levels in this game because, you know, Sonic's last level is halfway through Silver's story. Silver's first level is halfway through Sonic's story. So you can't really have, like, Crisis City be a medium difficulty level because if you're playing through a Silver, it's his first level and it has to be at least somewhat easy. So there can't really be a whole ton of, like, difficulty spikes in this game. But I guess it's the way that they make you play through each level that can make them more or less difficult. So what we are going to do here is kind of avoid these enemies. We're going to try and take them out before we move through there, just because it's annoying when you're trying to, you know, fly through an area and an enemy hits you with something in midair. It's not good. Sometimes it can make you just fall out of the air entirely, but I think we should be good now. Of course, the fact that they put these gates here is not nice. It's not that bad. Not that hard of a level. And again, I don't see the point of those doors where you have to open them manually. That door should just be open, or should open when it gets to you. Now, this is... I'm not sure if this was intended, because you can easily make your way over here without using the big silver ball, and I would much rather do that. It's probably faster, honestly, and, you know, you don't have to worry about getting the balloon popped. That just kills the enemies near you, but there were no enemies near me, so who cares? I think aesthetically and musically, this is a really nice level. I was like looking in the water there, seeing like dolphins and sharks and stuff flying around. And by flying around, I mean swimming, because that's what they do. There is maybe one tricky part about doing this part of the level the way that I'm doing it. But other than that, I would highly recommend doing this other than, you know, using the intended method, which would be the big silver ball. Great! It's this part here, because there's no way you can make it to the end there. So, you're going to want to try and step on this, which can be finicky, you know, maybe you'll miss that jump, maybe you won't. But that gives you just enough, you know, just enough distance to be able to get over to here. Which again, maybe it's safer to use the silver ball, but it certainly probably takes longer and it makes me feel more nervous. So we're gonna ignore that.
Let's start by getting rid of them.
Yeah, that's nice that they put just a screen nuke right there. Also, this part I was very confused by. I kept thinking, like, is there a switch to turn those off? Is there an enemy that I didn't kill? And I just didn't think for whatever reason, like, oh yeah, Silver can just jump over that. But I keep getting confused, so there you go, not that hard. Get out of here, you jerks. I'll blow you all up. I think the Iblis creatures take more damage. Like, the Eggman robots usually will die in, like, one hit. But the, like, Iblis worms and the, like, salamander-looking guys all take multiple hits, which I'm not a big fan of. I would rather them just go in one hit. As I've said before, I don't think that the enemies needed life bars. Man, it's so slow. The game just slows down so much. And yeah, as Shadow, it doesn't really... It slows down, but not nearly as much. I have to assume it's because they throw more things at you to throw at enemies. It's either due to the physics engine, or just there's too many things on screen. I'm not entirely sure. Now, let's see, that took a while. That took a really long time. What's the score on that level? Insane. Crazy. Although sometimes, like, killing a lot of enemies will give you a score boost, so that might have been it.
Hey! What are you doing? You've got to leave!
I have my duty. This living flame has been entrusted to the royal family. The flames of disaster will awaken if nothing is done. That must not happen. Eternal Sun, the living flame that has been entrusted to the royal family. Fall into slumber with a royal soul.
I'm pretty sure this guy is also the hint orb guy, so like whenever you get a hint in-game, it's this guy. I don't think it's supposed to be like a Tikal thing, where like it's actually that character helping you out, but it's very confusing. I don't know why they did that. Just use a different voice actor. Or have this guy do a different voice. With the money.
I'm sorry, but can you take her to a safe place? That's a good girl, Elise. Remember, be brave. Don't cry, no matter what happens. Otherwise, your tears will call forth the flames inside you. Become a strong queen who doesn't cry no matter what happens. And live happily.
Did you do it? Yes. And you? Yes. The flames are properly sealed. It's done.
So what's going on here is that Elise has Iblis inside of her now, and he'll be released if she cries, which is kind of an insane thing to expect a kid not to do. Especially since, like, her dad just died?
You're going to leave it behind?
Yes, I already know what becomes of it in the future. It's time to return.
Yes, of course.
Like, you're telling me that Elise didn't cry because her dad died. That's
Chaos
wild.
Control! It's a lucky charm.
Wait, where did Silver get the Chaos Emerald from? Why are there two? Did I miss something?
Blaze,
What did you see?
the Iblis trigger wasn't Sonic the Hedgehog.
I see.
I can't believe it. Do you think she's in danger?
This scene's really
Quite
eerie
noisy.
because there's like people like
Yes.
talking, but
I
there's
heard that the
obviously
princess
no
here
one
left
around.
for Dr. Eggman's base in response to his earlier threat.
What if his ultimate objective was to release Iblis? I'm going to stop Dr. Eggman no matter what. Blaze, let's go after him.
So we do have a mission that we can do right now, a town mission, right in front of us, which brings the story forward. We're going to ignore that right now because we are instead going to visit an old friend of ours. He is located, as I pointed out before, on the other side of the bridge over by this tower. So this tower here, that's like the big landmark here. You're also going to have to remember this area for Shadow's story, so just keep this area in mind anyway. So right over here by this fountain, we can visit our good old friend, Sonicman.
Hey.
Who are you? What do you want from me? Who am I? Don't you know? I saved Princess Elise and other girls who were in trouble. I'm Sonicman. What's that belittling look on your face? Think you could beat my supersonic powers?
Hey.
First one to reach the goal wins. Let's go. So, just like with Sonic, we have to race Sonic Man. This is probably the only use I have for the double, like, the Heart of Wind or whatever it's called. Now, even though Silver is the absolute slowest of the three protagonists, he still has basically no trouble racing Sonic Man. So, as long as you keep moving forward, it really shouldn't be an issue. And if you really need to get a boost, use the Heart of Wind. That's literally the only use I've ever been able to find for it in this entire game. It's never useful in any level, it's never useful in any other part of the game, except for right here.
Hey.
So there you go, Sonic Man once again eats crow, he puts his foot in his mouth.
That was easy.
I don't know what I could have done better there to get a better score, because it was fairly fast. I don't think there were really any rings to pick up, so I don't know what I could have done differently to get a better score on that. Other than, I guess, just keep spamming the jump attack. Or the you know, Heart of Wind. It's not really an attack. It would be nice if you can use it as an attack, like a homing attack. My god, this is like the longest period that the game was slowed down for. That was insane. Oh, and we're back. I've never seen a game run at 60 frames a second. Because this game, Sonic 06, miraculously is capped at 60 frames per second. So this game technically had like a better frame rate than like Sonic Unleashed. Although just yesterday, actually, they just put it on Xbox and gave that a 60 frames boost. But Sonic 06 day one 60 frames per second, baby.
Hey.
So we have to let this lady go to the end goal while killing enemies in her path. Now, this is... I could have just actually let her keep walking and not walk with her, and she would eventually reach the end of the area by herself and the enemies wouldn't spawn in. But that would be like a minute and a half of me just standing there not doing anything. So, no reason to do that. I might as well show it. It's not very hard. I've never had this lady die on me. I'd be more worried about Silver, like, falling in a hole or whatever. And thankfully the enemies don't take that much to kill here. You know, if this was just like every single enemy had a gigantic life bar, that would be very annoying, but it's mostly the like one and done enemies. And thankfully they assign, you know, one of the enemies as like the captain or whatever, the one that you need to destroy, and then all the other enemies will be destroyed. So thankfully there's a lot of those kind of in this area. You don't have to worry about taking on like 20 enemies at once. Just kill the one guy and you'll be good. At least we get to hear this Mega Man song. That was an accident there. I didn't mean to press that button twice. But not only is that move useless, sometimes it'll mess me up, so that's not nice. Not nice at all. I mean, that's straight up just a Mega Man song. The things really need to respawn more in this area because it's really not fun using all the items up and then having to wait for them to respawn, or, you know, trying to take them out with other means, which is almost never fun. You know, doing the ground pound attack or slapping them. Again, the ground pound attack moves, the ground pound attack works like 50% of the time, because the other 50% you'll get hit on the way down, or you'll get too close to the enemy somehow. It's just not fun. So that guy's done. I think that's the last enemy in this area. Thankfully. Get the hell out of here. Slow down the frame rate, why don't you? Just absolutely chugging along here. I have an apple with me, I don't know why. Got some fruit. Don't know where I picked that up. I guess they fell out of the boxes. What are you gonna do, right? I tried to launch myself up again. But with that done, we are now good to move on to the next video, so I will see you next time.
That was easy.